I'm Bea.
And I'm Sam.
And we're two best friends who like to talk shit about smut, wingspan,
and sometimes books.
Join us every Wednesday for a new episode.
We are live.
We're barely alive, both of us.
Yeah, so we should start this episode by saying if you haven't seen us on social media, it's because we've both been really ill.
But coincidentally, we didn't really give it to... It wasn't from each other, though, was it?
Oh, no, I had some infection. And you've got the flu or bug?
Flu. Proper flu. I don't think I've ever had proper flu before, but oh my God.
Yeah, and I had some horrible infection, was on 8 antibiotics a day.
Absolutely
rattling like
grim.
A pill bottle. Literally.
So we're both getting there, but hence why this doesn't make a difference for you guys listening, and this probably won't ever make a clip, but why we're not in person.
And why I'm sitting here in Christmas pajamas.
Why we look like this, because we are both sick as fucking dogs at the moment.
Yes. Never mind.
We're purposefully keeping, not distance, but saving our strength, because we've got a really big day on Friday. Do you want to tell everyone? Because this just happened. This has just come out of nowhere.
We are going to meet Princess Callie Hart.
The one and only.
Our Lord and Saviour. Literally, I'm buzzed.
So, was it last? It wasn't last week, it was the week before, right?
Yes.
And I was just sat scrolling on social media, and I must have...
Like a boomer.
Like a boomer that I like this. And I must have literally been on, she must have posted the story, and I must have been one of the first people to see it. But Callie, I don't know whether she's still in the UK. I think she is. I think she's stayed in the UK for a few weeks. And she's doing a lot of sign-ins in Waterstones, but because they were in London, they were a little bit too far away for us. But then she announced she was doing a free kind of limited ticketed but free sign-in meet and greet in Forbidden Planet. And I was like, should we just try and get tickets? It's free. It's still London, but it kind of justifies going because it's not cost. Well, it is going to cost us money, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'll do an 8-hour round trip for Callie.
I'll do it. And we bloody got tickets. So this Friday, but probably when this episode, it would have happened when this episode comes out.
Yes.
We're going to go meet Callie Hart in person.
It's so bloody exciting.
We're going to meet Callie Hart in person. We messaged her and we were and then she was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to meet you guys. And then our good friends, Bookish Babes After Dark, who we did a collab with a few months ago now, probably a month ago. One of them, Ellie, I think it was, met her at, was it at YACF? What was it at? Some convention.
I can't remember the name of it, sorry.
And she mentioned us and she was like, oh yeah, she remembered you. Callie Hart knows who we are.
My heart just stopped.
So the fact that I'm going to be able to get my indie cover Quicksilver signed.
Amazing.
You don't have one to get signed, but you're going to get one there, right?
So it won't be out on Friday when we meet her, but she's agreed with Forbidden Planet that they can sell her book early on that day. So I'm going to buy it there.
I have pre-ordered it, signed, the sprayed edge edition. So I do think I'm being a bit greedy, aren't I?
Get them all.
But maybe I could get one and we could do it as a giveaway.
Maybe.
Anyway, that's potato. We digress.
What are you currently reading?
We haven't spoken about this hardly at all because we've not really communicated much because we've both been so fucking ill.
Yeah, don't talk to me, don't look at me.
I've just been literally on death's door. Literally opening my eyelids has been painful. What am I currently reading? We haven't spoken about this because we've hardly spoken really because we've been dead. Yeah. But I started Reign of Shadows and Endings by Melissa. Oh, I'm going to mispronounce this.
Rorich, yeah.
And this is another Caitlin's romantasy recommendation.
I've seen you and Caitlin talking about it. Every time the conversation comes up, I'm like...
And I'm not going to lie, it's dark, right? It's dark. But I will say it's definitely fantasy, but it's much more... It's a bit kind of modern mixed in. But it's definitely well, I remember reading Haunting Adeline or Adelaide or however you say it and being like, this isn't for me because I just feel like it lacks consent.
Okay.
But I will say this is very dark, but still consensual.
Consensual. Okay, fair.
So I will say that, like,
I've never read non-consent. See, have we?
well, that is the no, we wouldn't know. That is the only finding, and some people would debate that book does consent. Like, everybody's got their own lines, right? I'm not saying that, but just for me, it was too like. Ugh. However, I read the first one and I was like, it's fucking insane. Like, honestly, you cannot predict.
What is the first book called? Sorry.
A Reign of Shadows and Endings.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were talking. I thought you were on a different book. Sorry.
I am on the second one, but I don't remember what it's called. But the first one, it's called the Legacy series.
Okay.
I've just finished the second one. I'm going to start the third after I've read.
Don't
two
know what
of the
it's
books.
called. Sorry.
Don't remember what it's called. It's the premise is insane. Like, it's wild. It's absolutely wild. I can't even begin to tell you. And the MMC, we're in book 2 and I still absolutely hate his guts.
I like that.
Awful. Like, he's awful. But like
that,
he's also the MMC. It's so like, I keep messaging Caitlin because I'm like, am I supposed to fucking hate his guts? She's like, yeah, yeah. But I'm like, because I still fucking hate him. I'm like, literally into 2 books now, and they're big books. So that's what I'm currently reading. I've just finished the second book. I'm going to start the third. I'm also halfway through the second book in the Song of the Marked series.
You started it.
The second one.
Oh, sorry.
What were you thinking of?
The Songbird, the new Christopher book.
No.
I was thought we were reading that together, but okay.
No. The SM Gaither one I said where like I couldn't do the audiobook because of the Scottish accent, but I'm halfway through. I'm reading it now, and I'm halfway through the second one. It's really good.
I didn't know you had the second one.
I bought it on Kindle.
Oh, okay.
It was $2.99.
Oh.
So I was like,
chips.
Exactly. And that's, again, really enjoying it, but when you're like halfway through and you're just like, I need to get back into it.
Yeah.
So that's currently what I am reading. What are you reading?
Are you not reading your author spotlight?
Yes, sorry. And I'm also reading Blood of the Sands as well. I'm like 39% through that.
How is it going?
Enjoying it. It's really good. It's definitely, I feel like everything we've had up until now have been the type of books that you're like, bang, bang, bang. This is definitely one, like, it's much more of a, I wouldn't say slower pace in like a negative way, but it's much more of like a bit by bit kind of book. But it's really interesting, not to spoil for our author spotlight, but actually I think it will be out by the time we recording this. So yeah, it will be.
Yeah,
it
will be.
But I'll say it in the author spotlight, but you get the MMC and the FMC chapters straight away. So like it's not like you get FMC and then you're introduced to MMC. You get both of them. They're both as much of a main character as each other, and you get both of them like chapter by chapter.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And the MMC doesn't have a name.
Ooh.
He's just known as the Viper.
Oh, love that.
But it's like in the desert. It's like, yeah, very that kind of vibe. It's very much like, with the Traitor Queen when they travel from wherever they. It's like, imagine if it was all set in that like premise.
Love that. I've just finished Riftborn by Lennox and Greenwich.
Did you?
Which you've already read.
I absolutely ate it up like a Sunday dinner.
Yeah.
Fucking
maybe
class,
we'll do an episode on it, so I won't talk about it too much now, but
if it's on KU, guys, at the moment it's the first book in a series. It absolutely, we very kindly got sent it, but I read it on KU because I didn't want to ruin my paper copy. Absolutely knocks my little fucking socks off.
That ending, I got a lot of questions.
Yes.
And I'm currently reading A Crown of Star and Ash by Victoria K. Taylor.
Which is our end of December spotlight?
It is. Again, won't spoil too much because we're going to do the spotlight on it. Mm-hmm. But right now, who I think is the MMC, obviously I can't be sure, who I think is the MMC fucking hates the FMC. And I mean, like, tells her to her face that she's a piece of shit.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm a bit like, tell me more.
Hate me more.
Yeah. So, yeah, honestly, though, I'm like 40% in, and I could not tell you where this story is going.
I feel like we've had so many books like
We've
that
been
recently.
lucky. We've been spoilt little girlies.
We've honestly, I couldn't like not that we're very lucky that like because we're quite new to our genre, we're still exploring, so we don't kind of struggle to find things to read. There's ample stuff for us to read, but like we've just not had a bad read, and I couldn't even tell you when.
No, can't remember. I've never DNF'd a book, so that shows how good a reading streak we've been on.
Yeah, absolute fucking delights.
While we are talking about author spotlights, at the time of recording this, our end of November author spotlight came out, which was A Vow of Lies by Alyssa Lonergan. During that episode, I talk about the books that are coming out, and I say that her fourth book is due to release in December. No, actually, I think I say January, but it's actually December. And I say it's called A Vow of Ruin. Since then, she's updated the title, but it's not changed on Amazon. So it's actually going to be called A Vow of Promise. So I just wanted to point that out and say the title has changed and is coming out end of December 2024.
And this also applies to our main channel episode, which was our most anticipated reads, because we also talk about it in that. And again, at the time, the title hadn't changed, but it has now. So that's what we were talking about.
What else has been happening in our world? We hit 7,500 downloads.
That was bonkers.
Crazy. So I did a little video about our progress and said, it's more about downloads than actually listening.
Yeah, because I just don't like. We never knew that until we had a podcast.
No.
I wouldn't. Nobody knows that it's about downloads as opposed. Like you could listen 50 times, but if you're just listening on a browser or not downloading, unfortunately, we don't get any like recognition for that. If you know what I mean.
But I can't remember who it is. I'm gonna have to find her on our Instagram. But somebody commented like, when B and Sam say downloads over streams, the listeners unite or something like that. Like, we've got you. So yeah, like that absolutely blew us away. And I've also set us a little goal of 14,000 followers on TikTok, haven't I?
Yeah, I don't know why you keep setting us goals now. I feel like we're too old to be doing goals.
We need less than 600 followers to get to 14,000. So
if you don't have a TikTok account and don't follow us, go make one and follow us.
Now. And if your husbands or boyfriends or partners have got TikTok but aren't into book talk, tell them to go follow us.
Just tell them to follow us. Yeah.
Mums, dads, nans, grandpas, aunties, uncles. And also a bit of exciting news. Today we got chosen to be brand ambassadors for a bookish content creator. So Helena's Bookish Gifts. They're linked in our link tree. They are linked on our Instagram profile, and they've given us a discount code for our followers and listeners, which is POD10, POD10. And she makes the most lovely like book sleeves to keep your books in. So if you read on the go and you're chucking your book in your bag, she makes these really nice like fabric sleeves to put your book in so that they don't get ruined while being bashed about in your bag.
And Kindle ones.
She makes bookmarks. She makes really nice fabric bookmarks. So yeah, if you want to check that out, we've got a little discount code, but absolutely chuffed to be chosen to be an ambassador for that as well.
Yes, very exciting.
Do you know, a week of illness and we're still slaying.
Oh God, boss babing, whatever you want to say. Slay the house down, boots, I'm deceased.
Yeah.
That. We do have a new Patreon subscriber to introduce for this week. So welcome to Steph. Thank you for joining our Inner Circle tier. And you can find Steph at Steph Writer on Instagram. Their pronouns are she, her, and they usually go by Stephanie. And thank you so much for your support. And welcome to the Inner Circle, where you get delusional messages off me, or delirious messages.
That was so funny. And when I was reading it, I could hear the panic in the typing. Like, oh my God, I'm not going to get this out to you. And even when I was reading it, I was like, we've got an episode before this that she's probably already got sitting in her inbox.
So for context,
and then when you messaged me, I was just like, oh, for God's sake.
For context, so like, obviously, one of the perks of being in the Inner Circle tier of our Patreon is you get the extra Patreon episode and you get all of our main channel episodes, so all the spotlights and main channels minimum 24 hours early. Sometimes it's more than that. But basically, because we didn't record last week, because normally we're at least 1 week ahead with our episodes, I thought that we were recording on the Monday, i.e. tonight for Metal Slinger, and I would then have to edit and get it out before tomorrow morning. And I didn't know if I'd have time to do it. So I was panicking to the inner circle tier thinking they're not going to get it 24 hours. So I was sending these like delirious flu messages of me like panic messaging, like, I'm really sorry, I'm going to do it as quick as I can. And then it clicks in my brain. No, we already have an episode that we did last week that I've already edited.
No, so B started looking through her emails and saw an email off me with last week's episode, and she was like, oh, that's weird that we're going to release Metal Slinger before when we've already recorded. Why didn't we think of swapping that around? And then lo and behold, go in our shared calendar, and it's because we were never releasing Metal Slinger first.
Yeah, so guys, in a circle on Patreon, what really that gets you access to
is us being chaos
more than we are. Yeah, so I think that's everything.
Okay, so the real reason we are all here, I mean, you've just listened to 20 minutes of us talking garbage. Metal Slinger by Rachel Schneider. So we do have next week's episode is an interview with Rachel Schneider. At the time of recording this, we haven't recorded it yet, but she messages us all the time. We talk to her on social media.
Humble brag.
Humble brag. Ha ha ha. We're so good friends. But she's basically said, if you're listening to this, then you must have read Metal Slinger.
Again, if you listen to us, hello. But if you've never listened to us before, and Sam just said, in these main channel episodes, we spoil. However, if you've not listened to read Metal Slinger, but you're like, I want to listen, we did do an author spotlight on it. However, if you're continuing, you obviously have read Metal Slinger. And I know we don't go blow by blow anyway, but I will preface that sometimes us not going blow by blow with these conversations, the more chaotic it is, it sometimes means the more we enjoyed it, because we're literally like, I've got too many things I need to think about, and I'm going to suspect that is going to be tonight's episode, because I have so much I need to talk about.
Yay! Do you want to start with the blurb?
Oh, yeah.
Brynn has spent the better part of her life waiting for the chance to attend the annual market hosted by the Kenta, the very same people who exiled the Alaha to live a life over the sea. A rite of passage for all young guards. She's not sure what to expect from it, but breaking a century-long peace treaty certainly isn't on her map. Neither is the encounter with an enemy soldier. Returning home to Alaha, she's confronted with the aftermath of the day's events. The future is uncertain as the threat of hunger looms over the people. With rumours of a growing rebellion, Brynn and her closest friends promise to stick together. When the unexpected visitor arrives, Brynn's loyalty will be tested as she learns of a world of magic and treachery. Once her enemy, always her enemy, right? But the dark, knowing eyes of a stranger make her question everything, including her heart.
Nobody, and I mean nobody, could have even after listening to you do an author spotlight on this book, does any of that even give you an inkling of what this book is really like? It's fucking insane. In the best way.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
First of all, were you straight away Kai's not the love interest?
Don't know. Because she almost seems hesitant. You know when they're at the market and he says he's told his parents he wants to marry her?
Yes.
She runs away. And even when they then go back, she sort of seems standoffish with him. So I was a bit like, is this one-sided from Kai? Because, I just couldn't see that. So, did it surprise me when he wasn't? No. But then did it surprise me when... Well, I don't know. Do you think the ending hints that he actually is her love interest?
For me, no. I do think that she does really love Akka.
I'm on the fence on that.
I would be... I say that, I don't know, because Rachel Schneider, honestly, at this point, you could get me bending on all my morals when it comes to books.
But this is the problem when we read an author that we've never read before, because we don't know Like, are they a happy ender? Like, do
Mm.
they give us what we want? Like, we've never read anything by Rachel before, so like we're at her mercy now of like what sort
Well,
of story she's gonna give us.
and maybe not a problem, but is sometimes like I love about reading a new author, you know, because like you've got nothing to go off and you're almost living on that like adrenaline of like, what if she just fucking kills everyone, you know?
Yes.
And I kind of live for it.
Yeah, same.
Sorry,
So
go on.
yeah, I'm on the fence of whether she actually loves Aka or not, because well, she betrays him in the end, but his sister also betrays him. So is it like we're doing this out of our love rather
Yes, that's
than
what
I'm doing this to betray you?
I think that Akka, although he knows his dad isn't a good person, he doesn't see his dad as the enemy. Like he doesn't see his dad as the big
Yeah.
bad, right? So I think they were never gonna get well. In their mind, they were never, and they were running out of time as well. They were never gonna get Akka to like see that quick enough to then wanna usurp his dad.
Yeah.
So, but the fact that she's like conspiring with fucking Kai, when I read that chapter, I was literally like sweating. I texted her, I was like, please tell me I didn't just fucking read that chapter because I was so scared. I was like, no, no, no,
Yeah,
no, 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 no,
because
no.
we're at like 90%, 7% of this
It's
point,
the
aren't we?
penultimate chapter. It's the chapter
And
before
then
the
it's
last
like
chapter.
a flashback to
Mhm.
before with Kai, and I was like,
Mhm.
excuse me, Rachel. Can I admit something?
Sure.
And Rachel, if you're listening, you're probably going to think I'm an absolute fucking idiot.
We had messaged her the other day. She replied to one of our like ask us anything and asked us about the Kindle question, like what are your Kindle settings? And I literally didn't understand what it meant. And literally was like, I messaged her like, Rachel, I don't fucking understand what this is. I don't know. I'm really sorry. I'm really stupid.
Big font.
I tend to turn my Kindle on when I read it. I press the power button. There's not a brain cell between us.
No, absolutely clueless. My confession.
Mm-hmm.
When I started this book, obviously we start with them on a boat going to the Kenta market.
Mm-hmm.
And she talks about how they were exiled and she's never lived on land, or that she can't remember ever living on land.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh, stick, it's a pirate book.
Well, I don't think that's a stupid assumption to make.
Because, well, I just assumed they lived on the sea. Like, I didn't
Yeah,
realise, like,
no.
well, they've got like, but what is their home then? To me, it's a big rock.
To me, right, it's an archipelago. I don't know, how do you say it? Archipelago. Archipelago?
To me, you're saying a cappella, and I'm going to start singing, so.
My husband made fun of us.
Yeah, B's husband made fun of us for not being able to pronounce it.
It's a group of islands scattered in a body of water. Right, okay, no.
Yeah, but then she says that they've never lived on land.
I tell you why I think that, right? This is really rogue and this is completely irrelevant and most people are not going to know what I'm talking about. But I'm a fan of an anime called One Piece. And there's a season in One Piece called something Archipelago. Sabaody Archipelago. And it's like this place that's all made up of like big gigantic trees. All the trees grow from the sea and all the vines, like the roots are so thick that they're all like intertwined and they make an island. Does that make sense? So there's kind of like holes in the ground.
That makes more sense to me because they say about the magic being tied to the earth, and obviously they don't have access to their magic, so there can't be earth there as such. I think that's what I struggle to wrap my head around.
So to me, that's kind of how I envisaged it, like all these huts and
like built into the tree and the bridges.
Bridges.
Yeah,
thank you.
Same.
Yeah, that's how I saw it. These things.
Yeah, so to me, I was like, oh, sick, pirate book. Ooh, I
don't think that's a stupid assumption.
Oh, okay, cool.
No, I think that's fair.
Okay, brilliant. I'm not stupid then.
So what I will say is you get a lot of, there's plot twists throughout this whole fucking book, right? Like, but can I make a confession? I knew
this is my confession.
I don't think I know that song.
Just when I thought I said all I can say, my chick on the side said she got one on the way.
I think I remember it being in Glee.
It's Neo, innit?
I don't know. Yeah. Neo in it? I don't remember the original. You can tell the type of upbringings that me and Sam had. Well, not upbringings, but the type of teenage years. I knew that Kai wasn't the love interest, right?
Okay.
But then when we then get introduced to Akka,
Mm-hmm.
even as the guard, sorry, no, I wouldn't say so much as the guard, because I just don't think anyone, if anybody did, I think you're lying to yourself. But if anybody could have predicted from the interaction of him trying to capture her in the market that he was going to be the love interest, like I don't think you knew. I was no way to guess it at that point. When he then comes back to the island, then I was like, okay, but right. I don't know if it was just me not paying attention, but I didn't think he was hot. Like, I don't remember him being described as handsome or good looking. So I was like, is he hot? Because I don't remember him being hot.
The only description I remember, and I might be remembering wrong, does he have a scar on his face?
He has a nose ring.
You didn't think he was hot?
Listen, Brenda, listen. When he comes to the island and they rough him up, don't they, in the dungeons, they rip it out. So she says he has like a scar on his nose because he got pulled out. And then for quite a way, and then way into it when they're back in his kingdom and they're kind of like falling in love and whatever. Yeah. At one point she then says he comes to a room and he put the nose ring back in and she says like, oh, I think it's hot.
Yeah.
But yeah, he doesn't, but he does have it kind of towards the end. So in my head, he always has a nose ring, which is such a big smash.
Yeah. Hard smash.
But I didn't think that Akka was hot for quite a while.
I think I always did.
Well, once I kind of started cottoning on that that's what he was going to be I say the MMC, but we don't really know.
Yeah, who knows?
But he was going to be the love interest for the next, certainly few chapters. I went back and reread the description of him. And yeah, it's quite like, it's not negative, but I just, in my head, when I thought like guard chasing her down, I just didn't picture someone hot.
Were you surprised that Brynn wasn't Alaha?
A little bit.
Oh, okay. So I wasn't, just based on like how much emphasis she put on being so different to them.
Yeah, I think for me, the biggest thing was that because they were from like a secluded island, it was like, how has everyone been in on it? Does that make sense? Like, yeah, that was what it was more for me. But then obviously the reality is like everyone is in on it and she's the only one that isn't. But also maybe not because I don't know, Rachel, you make my head hurt.
Yeah, literally, the revelations that you get throughout this book make you re-question everything you've already read, and not in a negative way, in like the most like, how the fuck did you write such a phenomenal book? Mm-hmm. Because every 2 minutes I'm going for a spin because like I don't know where I'm looking.
It's insane. A kind of a part of me like was a little bit surprised because I did just think, well, how is everybody on a secluded island in on it, if that makes sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Can I jump to the end?
Yeah, of course you can. We don't follow any,
because this is the biggest like what the fuck for me in the whole book. That his mother was her next door neighbour. Where the fuck is that story going? Why is she there?
How did he met her? How did he not remember? But I suppose he was little, wasn't he?
And like, did he see her full on? Like, has she like changed her appearance? Like,
it's probably been like 20 years, isn't it? So like, yeah,
like,
you wouldn't.
And then Brynn just talks about her like the weird old neighbour, like the cranky neighbour. So like,
but for me, the bigger plot twist, but the fucking bird being Messer.
I love Messer.
Me too, but fucking wild. Also, at the time when you find out that it's Messer and he says like, I've come because you're my friend and I want to, make sure you're okay. But then actually then that ending alludes to the fact that she always knew he was, do you know what I mean? Because he was probably in on it. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like we've been like triple crossed and I just don't know.
So that's exactly what I was going to say. Like, obviously he was the one coming up to her room and she was feeding him and it was like her only friend. But then when you get that Kai flashback chapter and it sort of hints that she already knew about the magic and everything, did she know Messer, I can't think of the word, was a shapeshifter?
Yeah, like a shift.
Yeah, for lack of a better word. Like, did she always know it was him going to her room?
Well, and because that bird was there when Kai was like being hidden out, but also the fact that like all that confrontation under the pier, like where they sneak the boat and Akka like fights Kai, and it was all put on.
And she begs him not to kill him.
I don't have words.
I think I need to reread this book.
I mean, 100%. We need to reread it before book 2, without a doubt.
No, but even just talking, like, how long ago did we read it? A month ago?
Yeah, not even that.
And now talking about it again, I'm like, fuck, I love this book so much. I want to read it again. Incredible.
I will
So
say,
yeah, Mercer being a bird was also like a fucking plot twist, but his mother being her neighbour, that really fucking threw me.
I love his sister, Aka's sister.
Me too.
She is hilarious.
So fucking funny.
And her magic is so interesting.
It is. Sorry, I just sound like I'm just fucking agreeing with everything you're saying.
No. But I also thought it was so clever that like makes sense. And to me then it was like, well, that makes sense why she sided with
Brynn. Alaha.
From the get-go. Well, not the get-go, because she can sense auras, and she's obviously known for the longest time that the king, their dad's aura is like not genuine. She can tell that he's been lying this whole time.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm being chaotic because something's just come into my head. And I don't think we've even discussed this because, like, obviously we've talked about this book since both reading it, but I don't think we've discussed this plot point. But obviously she has a family. Brynn has a family in Kenta.
Yes.
And she doesn't go to see her mum. Like, she sends her guards. Well, she sends them away. And I'm like, but because she's double-crossed them and she's actually working with Alaha, does she know about her family? Like, does she want to know her family? Like,
this is the thing. At the time when she sends the guard away, she puts it down to like, no, I'm staying with Aka. I don't want to leave. Like, because my mum might not even let us get married. Because don't they come to the conclusion they're basically like mates, but there's another word for it, but I can't remember what it is.
Yeah.
And he says to the guard, like, Aka does, like, well, she's my mate, so like you can fuck off. But the guard's like, the queen's not gonna have it. Like, she will not be having it. And Brynn says like, oh, well, tell her I will come, but like just give me X amount of time. And obviously you just think, oh, I'm so glad she's choosing Aka because like you know, she's finally coming around to the fact that she has feelings for him. But actually no, really it's because the whole time her mission is to take down, what's that called? Oh, Kenta. Sorry, Kenta, yeah. To take down was she the queen of that, or the princess of? Meili.
Yes.
Princess Jovi of Meili.
Jovi, oh fuck, I forget she has a second name.
She's not Brynn.
Yeah.
But she doesn't ever go by Jovi. She sticks to Brynn the whole way, which I kind of get. Like, I do get. I feel like there's been some, I wouldn't say necessarily even, I'm trying to think if there's other books. Yeah. This isn't like, oh, it is a spoiler. Okay, I want to talk about it. There's a YA book that's very popular where like the big plot twist is that the main character's name is not their name.
Yeah.
But once they discover it, even though they've been going by their name for like 20 something years, they then go, oh, that's my real name, so I'll just use that.
Yeah.
It's like me telling you, like, no, my name's going to be Pauline from now on. I feel like are there any more plot twists throughout this that like we forgot? I'm not normally clever enough to pick up on things, but the one thing I did pick up on, when Brynn and Beau's mum, who's actually like the librarian, they're like down in the archives in the library, and Brynn's trying to research like her lineage and what type of magic she has, because it's still really hazy as to like what her magic is at this point. It says in one of the books that the king, so Aka's dad's magic, is like water or like fire, but earlier on it says that it's the opposite, it's something else. And Brynn says like, oh, I thought the king had none power, and Beau's mum is like, oh, must have been like a type, must have been like a mistake or a typo, because it isn't. And I remember being like, that's fishy as fuck.
Suspicious.
So what was the plot twist that it does turn out to be?
So they're saying that Kai is manipulating Brynn through touch, that he can like manipulate her actions, but that's actually the magic of the king.
But Kai does kind of have that magic, right? Like, I think
yeah, I think so. But she allows him to use it on her so that it seems believable, because obviously they want Aka to see him manipulating her so that he picks up on the power, but it's consensual. Like, she knows she's being manipulated, like she's allowing it to happen.
I just can't with this book, my tiny little puny brain, but it's also classic. Like, it's thus far, not to get too ahead of ourselves, but like it's the read of the year for me. I know it is for you as well.
Yeah, same.
But my tiny pea-sized brain can't compute but I also just love it.
Yeah, I feel like when you watch like a crime or a detective show and they've got like a huge board and all the pieces of string like with the different witnesses and the different suspects. I feel like I need one of them for Metal Slinger, and I'll have like
Yes.
plot twists, characters, magic systems, regions, and I'll have strings like going all over.
And honestly, again, like so this is obviously Rachel Schneider's like first ever fantasy book. She's written stuff before, but it's all been contemporary romance. And I think, if I'm right in saying, I might be lying, so sorry, Rachel, if I am, but I think this is going to be a trilogy, I think. But we're definitely getting
We'll ask her next
we'll
week.
ask her. But we're definitely getting a second book at some point next year.
Yes.
I think that book 2 is, when I say worse, not as in bad, but I just think it's going to be like amped up.
Yeah.
Like, I genuinely think I'm going to be drinking like cans of Red Bull, like bags under my eyes, like no sleep. And all I'll do is sit in bed and think about this plot line because I just can't.
What do you think's going to happen? And do you have any predictions for book 2?
I definitely think we're going to get a really big lovers to enemy again, obviously. Like, obviously we're going to have that. But
Yeah.
What's so interesting is like normally when you get deceit on that level with your main characters, like you get a flip flop between book 1 and 2. So you go from enemies to lovers to enemies again. Usually this is just from what we've read, everyone is against the FMC for the betrayal. But it kind of feels like the general concept, well, not the general, but like the fact that Bo is on board with this, I'm curious to see whether actually is Brynn going to be the villain or is Akka going to be the villain? Does that make sense? Like, because Brynn's the one that did the betraying, you would assume that it would be Brynn the one that's kind of like trying to redeem. But I actually wonder whether it's going to be Akka.
Does she kill his dad or does she just like string him up?
I think she kills him.
Okay, so Akka is now going to be king, or Bo will be queen.
I think Akka will be king. That's the point.
And but and again, we're speculating, is Brynn's is her end goal to free Alaha? And if so, is the end goal also to kill Kai's father so that Kai is king? Because Kai's father's not good either.
No, he's
a
bad.
Dick.
But then this is the thing. This is what this is what we just don't know, is how you just don't, even though she's obviously been playing Akka by quote unquote siding with Kai, but you don't know to what level, because it could be that like she's not necessarily either team Kai or team Akka. She's kind of like a team, or like obviously she's working with Kai, right? But you don't know what Kai's motives are. Maybe Kai's motives are the same as what their motives are for Akka. Because I personally don't think Kai thinks his dad is a good person. I do think he thinks his dad is obviously a really bad person. But are they ultimately trying to overthrow all of them?
That is the $1 million question.
I don't know.
Yeah. I've got no predictions for book 2, purely because I don't want to make myself look stupid.
Maybe potentially a Bo and Mesa.
I'd fucking love that. I would eat that up because I love Mesa. Yeah,
like obviously when there's like a scene where all of them are having to share horses, so obviously Brynn and Akka, and then Bo and Hallis. And they like want to rip each other's throats out, but I also low-key think he's so madly in love with her.
Yeah. And obviously when they leave Alaha and Kai starts to like slowly tell Brynn about her life as his, childhood friend, you get very strongly then that he loves her, whether she's double crossing him, triple crossing him, whether he is her love interest or not, she is his love interest.
And
I've got a really nice quote here, which is from Akka when he's telling her about like being taken as a child, and it says, "I looked for you in every market and podunk town, in every corner of every land. I searched each face for yours." If she fucking double crosses him and he's not the love interest, I'm not going to be happy with you, Brynn Jovi.
Brynn Jovi. Honestly, it makes the double cross so much worse.
Yeah, I agree.
We are ignoring the elephant in the room. The glass scene. We've read a lot of fucking smut.
Yes, we have.
And not that there's anything wrong with stuff being samey, right? there's nothing wrong with that because like
No.
I love it. But the scene, because one of Brynn's like powers is that is even a power, is it like
it's linked to them being
awakening, like mates, basically.
Yeah.
She like is in the bath, but she leaves her body and effectively like ghost walks through the walls to a meeting that Akka is sitting in with like all the lords and his dad. Only Akka can see her. She's bollock naked because she's in the bath, like dripping wet. And she sits on his lap and he uses his like whiskey glass. The silence is deafening.
Yeah. That. But then she can't wake up from it.
No, because isn't Bo like literally shaking her like because they can't get her up?
Yeah, so that's a bit strange, but it seems to just be between her and him. So I don't think it's her magic manifesting. I do think it's something to do with them being mates or connected or whatever.
Yeah, and like there isn't a huge amount of spice in this. It's not YA.
They do bang though.
They do bang, but it isn't like it's not the smutty. It's not like super.
No.
But this is what I mean. Like that glass scene. Like this is what, and I know that's still quite graphic, but like sometimes it's not about the banging. It's just about the like the sizzle.
But question: when they bang, she sort of alludes that it's her first time.
She does.
Do you believe it was her first time? Like after that flashback scene with Kai, do we think she's been intimate?
I hadn't even fucking thought of that. Stop. They're going to make you stop now. I'm going to stop this episode. This episode is done. Because this fucking book ripped me to pieces enough. This is just, I didn't even think about that. My tiny little puny brain didn't even comprehend that she'd lie about that. I think he'd be heartbroken. He is really fucking heartbroken.
Yeah. But when you get that flashback scene to Kai, I can't remember if they're intimate or if it's just a conversation, whether they kiss or anything. I can't remember.
I think they kiss, but I don't think they bang. No, I don't think they ever did. I don't think she's lying about that.
What if she is? I got so many unanswered questions because it's almost like spoiler warning for Fourth Wing Iron Flame. You know how that is meant to be sort of written from somebody else's point of view, her friend the scribe.
Yes.
And it's sort of like telling the events.
Yeah.
Is this book like, is this how we're supposed to read it? Is it from Brynn, but as if she's writing in a diary, so that if anybody ever found it, they would believe
an altered version of like
they would believe what was written? Because obviously, like when Akka is telling her that she was taken and things, she talks about like Kai manipulating her and like that she never realized. But did he, like, obviously he didn't, because she knew, but what is the reason for us getting that version of the story for so much and then getting
it's almost
what more
like
is to come?
We get, even though it's from Brynn's POV, it's the Brynn that Akka believes. Do you know what I mean? It's Brynn through Akka's eyes as opposed to actually Brynn.
Yes.
It's the Brynn that Akka wants Brynn to be.
It's Jovi. When actually she's Brynn. Rachel, we fucking sussed it.
We sussed it. I don't even know what to say. I just don't even...
I found the first description we get of Akka.
Oh, go for it. I've got some quotes as well, but go for it.
Dark hair, dark eyes, a gold ring in one nostril. How did you not think he was fit?
I don't know. I just... you know?
I think you were thinking like big burly guard, like overweight old man.
Well, but not like unattractive, but just like...
Yeah, I think you were like thinking like of a guard being like somebody older, like maybe somebody in their like 40s to 50s, like... I think you were thinking like captain of the guard, whereas really he's just a guard.
Well, and we have sexy captain of the guards, like we've had those as love interest, but like, I don't know, just in my head I wasn't thinking he's sexy.
Yeah, no,
obviously
it's fine. Yeah.
Do you want to read some of my highlights?
Go on then.
I'll hog tie you if I have to.
Please do.
And then subsequently, shame, I was kind of looking forward to tying you up. You are kind of beautiful when you lie.
Hint, fucking hint, you're a liar.
Whether it's on the floor or in the dirt or in your bed, I'll be there if you want me. Don't worry, Jovi, I'm going to court you so well you'll be begging to climb into bed with me.
Oh my god, I got goosebumps.
But I don't like that he called her Jovi.
Yeah.
The bond is throbbing from your end of the tether. And then this is the pièce de résistance. I'm a starving man, Jovi. Don't appear without clothes again. Or what, I say, not recognising the timbre of my voice. Lips tracing the outer shell of my ear, he tilts his pelvis towards mine, revealing the truth of his arousal. Or I'll make you finally confront the desire you've been so determined to pretend doesn't exist between us. This is what I mean. This is what I mean. She went into this mission with the like, pretend to fall in love with him, make him fall in love with you. He already is anyway. Pretend that you love him because ultimately you're going to double cross him. But I think that she really does. And that's one of the reasons why she's so hesitant.
Yeah. I've got another question that might make your head spin that I haven't thought about it before. You might have.
Mm-hmm.
Does she remember Aka as her childhood best friend?
Does she not have her memories wiped? Does she remember everything that happens?
And Harless, like, does she actually remember them or not?
Because obviously she says she has no memory, but like maybe she always did. Maybe she's always known that Aka's dad was the baddie. That's why from the beginning or from very early on, Kai and her have always been working against Kai's dad. Like I don't think that when she came to Kenta and met Bo, but obviously she would have known her. I don't believe that was her finding out that Aka's dad was the baddie. I think she always knew. What if they've literally been plotting this whole time? They always planned for this to happen. They knew she needed to touch. Maybe this has always been.
Yeah. But that's why he slams her hand onto the wall because obviously all their magics are connected to the earth. Also, can we talk about that big bad dark forest that she just fucking clears, and it's no longer a dark forest? She is mad powerful. But I only have one quote. I don't know why.
What is it?
I don't know. I forget to highlight, and then you say to me, I've got loads of highlights, and I'm like, I'd started in the beginning, and then.
Well, this is totally off topic, but when we do our TOG run next year, you better start tabbing for the fucking Queens, mate, because.
Well, I'm gonna paperback them.
Yeah, me too. I haven't got them Kindle.
But I might make something. Rather than having tabs in the book, I might make something on my laptop and have a visual.
Well, that's nice.
I'm not very creative, so we'll see how it goes. But my one quote.
Mm-hmm.
His stare lingers on Kai. Can you explain why this cell was covered in her scent when I arrived here? Shock registers through my system. He could smell. Surely not.
But this is what I mean. I do think. I think almost like it's all true. Does that make sense? Like, I don't think that
No, because that is lie after lie. What do you mean it's all true?
No. As in, like, I don't think any of that was disingenuous. Like, I do think, because they used to lock Brynn in the cells all the time, didn't they? Because she was always, like, not listening.
Yeah, but that was his dad, wasn't it?
Yeah, but this is what I mean. So I think all of that was, like, legit. I don't think it was like, haha, he thinks I'm getting tortured, but I'm not really. I think all of the versions are true. It's just, so I don't think that anything, I don't think that like, I think Kai's dad doing all these terrible things to Brynn and the life that she was living in Alaha, I think all of that's true. I don't think any of that was make believe, and I do think that like I don't think they were double crossing Kai in that sense, and I do think that him coming and being like, or like don't touch her, like no, and I don't think she ever thought that they were like mates, like they had a bond. Does that make sense? Like I don't think when she got into this she ever thought it was that deep. So I think that all of the views are true. It's just she didn't tell Aka that she was working. And I don't even think working with Kai. I think working to overthrow his dad.
Yeah. I started this episode thinking I've got loads to say about Metal Slinger. I've got no questions, and I'm just excited for book 2 and see where it goes. Now, I'm like, I'm going to fucking reread that book tomorrow, and I'm going to write everything out so that I can have a literal visual representation of what the fuck is going on, and I'm going to suss it. Because we've posed more questions than we've answered during this.
You know, like, I feel like in the book community now, in the romantic community, it should be acceptable. People be like, oh my God, you don't look so good. You look really tired. Like, you doing okay? And you can just say, like, Metal Slinger. And they're like, ah. Yeah. That should be, like, an acceptable, like...
I'm Metal Slingering.
I'm reading Metal Slinger. People are like... It's like, you know, when you say, like, oh my God, are you okay? Like, you don't look good. And people are like, I'm reading Kingdom of Ash. You're like...
Say no more.
We get it. I feel like Metal Slinger has now become its own...
Yeah.
Is that a noun or an adjective? I don't know. It's not an adjective. Maybe a noun. I don't know. But you know what I mean? Like its own...
A verb. A doing word. A verb is a doing word. A noun is a thing. An adjective is a description. And a verb is a doing word.
Okay, so it's a verb. I'm Metal Slingering.
Yeah. What are you up to? Metal Slingering.
Best wishes. Peace be with you.
But yeah, I've got more questions now that we've finished, and that doesn't normally happen.
We could literally spiral about this book for hours.
I could keep going, but I'm conscious of the time.
Conscious that you guys have been listening to us for a full episode of
and you're probably like, oh, girls,
mayhem.
Shut the fuck up, just wait for book 2.
And also, like, girls, it says this. We had a message the other day of someone that was like, I can't remember what they were listening to. I don't remember what it was now. I want to say maybe it was like Dawn of Onyx. And we just completely get like one character. We correct ourselves in the end, but we're just talking for like 20 minutes and then we're like, oh no, it's not even that character.
But we're like going in on him and he's the nicest character, but we confuse him with somebody else. And we basically like accuse him of not getting consent before touching somebody. It's a big accusation to make.
And he's like the opposite of that character.
We are talking about the completely wrong person.
Yeah. We do that, but...
Nobody said we were professionals.
No one said we can't. So, next week, we're going to be gobbling down on our words because we're going to be talking to Rachel Schneider.
I don't even want to think of how long that episode is going to go on for.
As we said, next week, the one and only Rachel Schneider. We are buzzing. The week after that, remind me.
The week after Rachel Schneider, we are doing our ACOTAR crack ship theories.
Oh, so yeah.
It's probably going to specifically be Azriel and Eris.
You say that like we stick to a fucking topic and we go off tangent so badly.
Obviously, it's going to be spoilers because we're going to be talking about theories that are based on the book. So if you haven't read ACOTAR... Yeah, but if you haven't read ACOTAR, obviously you won't be able to follow along. And then the week after that, which is Christmas Day.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry bloody Christmas, is ACOTAR Secret Santa.
Oh, so what we would get for ACOTAR characters for Secret Santa.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
which
then
is going to be so exciting.
The week after that, which is New Year's Day, January the 1st, it's going to be our best reads of 2024.
And then after that, I feel like we can talk about what's after that now. We can confirm.
No, because I'll cry.
We're going to do the Ever King and then the Ever Queen. And we are interviewing LJ Andrews.
Pause for effect because I'm blown away. I cannot believe she said yes. Like, not that, like, not in like a negative way, but like, I just thought like, well, they're going to be so busy. Like, why would they want to sit down and talk to us? But
hopefully our ink pages, Ever King and Ever Queen will have arrived by then and we can be like, look, LJ, look.
Yeah, so then, but LJ Andrews, if you've just heard us say that and are really excited, it's not until the 22nd of January, so you have got a bit of a wait.
Sorry, guys.
But it'll be worth it. We're going to talk about the Ever.
The Ever Seas.
Eric Bloodsinger.
Are we done?
We are. Thanks so much for listening.
Follow us on TikTok and Instagram at A Pod of Smut and Wingspan.
See you next week.
Bye.